My name is Nuruz and Bintani. I'm from Group 5. I want to review the journal Forgiveness Analysis of Domestic Violence Victims in Aceh. The author is Putri Nasari and Afdal from Padang State University in March 2020. From the domestic violence story, it can be concluded that there are still many victims who forgive the perpetrators and choose not to divorce or sue. There must be several factors, one of which is the difference in position, and where we one in power is someone who has a higher position. And then don't be afraid to speak up. The third despite pressure and threats from the perpetrator. Forgiveness is in indeed required in religion, but not to live together in one house anymore, because there is definitely the potential for to happen again. And 3 questions from Miss Annie. First question is, what do you think about the news of dating violence? Yeah, why did violence happen? If you feel the relationship is unhealthy anymore, just let it go and don't date anymore. And second question is, what caused dating violence? There are difference of opinion and principle that cause conflict, as well as a lack of respect for one another. And third question is, how to prevent dating violence? Yeah, maybe with mutual respect, understanding, being a good listener to one another, or better, yeah, no dating. Okay, thank you for your listening. Bye.
Hello, I'm Riska Estika from Class D, name 100,041. Number 1, what do you think about the news of dating violence? I think violence is a form of conflict between the two of women and men, causing domination and discrimination, which will hinder women from advancing. There are several types of violence experienced by women, namely physical violence, emotional or psychological violence. In courtship or dating, violence is an act of violence against couples who are not yet married. This violence occurs frequently but have not received much attention they compare to domestic violence. Number 2, what causes dating violence? Many factors lead to violence against women in courtship, including low level of education, bad habits, using narcotics, drinking alcohol, unable to control emotional and infidelity. Number 3, how to prevent dating violence? Number 1, before dating, it's a good idea to find out the parents' background. Number 2, one must have the principle that violence cannot be tolerant no matter what form it takes. Number 3, start a relationship by building a shared commitment to mutual respect and no violence. Number 4, if during a date you feel that something violence, your shared commitment or is not in accordance with principles, you must have the courage to make decision to review the relationship. Number 5, show your sense of self. Even though you are woman, that doesn't mean you have to be passive in a relationship. Stay it if there is anything that needs to be discussion regarding the relationship. Number 6, if you receive violence, you should immediately.
Hello everyone, my name is Lestari. I want to review the journal Forgiveness Analytic of Domestic Violence in Aceh. The phenomenon of domestic violence is cast a very alarming at this time to be investigated because many victims have suffered losses. Some victims even choose to divorce and some are still surviving in their households. So that victim choose to forgive. It is certainly based on several factors. They are factors that support victims to do this. Some of these four factors are the economic dependence of the victim on the offender, long-standing marriage commitment making it easy for victim to give forgiveness, the religious factor of a victim, and other supporting factor can also be cause the victim is embarrassed to report the case. They assume that the case is discouraged for family, the presence of children in the family and same toward family, friends, and surrounding community. In Aceh culture, the forgiveness of victims of domestic violence can be said to be high. Victims of domestic violence are very easy. Is giving forgiveness to preparator. In Aceh, the word metuah is a term that is very desirable if a wife is given such a label, because the word has a very deep meaning. For a wife is considered a very wife, loyal, obedient, and when involved in a relationship, she tends give everything. So they give a forgiveness of victim of domestic violence is an apology for victim of domestic violence to preparator of domestic violence. They elementally pain reference or indifference to victim and continue to foster good relation and do to not avoid victims. It is not easy for it. Next, causes dating violence. 1. The unstable personality and psychological condition of the husband or wife. 2. The economic independence from both wife or husband. 3. Cases of immediately by one of the two partners. 4. Children problems. 5. The emergency of jealousy between the two parties so that there is a feeling of distrust between the two. 6. There is difference from a third person, either the parents of each husband or wife or other. Next, how to preventing dating violence. 1. Report to the authorities. 2. Do a divorce if it is felt that the violence is too fatal, so that is really tortures the victim. But in this case, all discussion are returned to the personal or victim. 3. Forgiveness to defendant his family. For example, in Aceh culture, the forgiveness of victim of domestic violence can be to the high. Victim of domestic violence are very easy in giving forgiveness to perpetrators. In Aceh, the word metuah is a term that is very desirable if a wife is given such a label because the word has a very deep meaning for a wife. In considered a very good wife, loyal, obedient, and when involved in a relation, she tends give for everything. Thank you. Bye bye.
Hello guys, my name is Ayu Setiani, NIM 221221143. I'm here to review journals on dating violence. Number 1, what do you think about dating violence news? In my personal opinion, violence is a form of imbalance between the roles of women and men, giving rise to domination and discrimination that will hinder women from advancing. There are several types of violence experienced by women, namely physical violence, emotional or psychological violence, economic violence, to activity rejection violence. Of the various types of violence, the most common type of violence is sexual violence, but it still requires less action when compared to domestic violence, so that it is sometimes ignored by both victims and perpetrators. Number 2, what causes dating violence? Many factors lead to violence against women, including level of education, habits as drinking alcohol, victim emotions, infidelity, unpaid partner, temperamental nature, location of residence in urban areas, effects of class aggression with violence. In cases of dating violence, women who are victims tend to be weak and love their partners very much. Many couples who impregnate each other after committing violence, so an attitude of regret, apologies, but is still being done again. Some victims chose to remain silent and did not report their cases to the authorities, and the victim chose to remain silent. Number 3, how to prevent dating violence. Effort to deal with female victims of dating violence can be carried out by providing support and convincing victims to say no and opposite all forms of violence, communicate with their partners, helping to build self-confidence. For victims who have experienced trauma, special treatment is needed by a person or psychologist or job victims assistance for the sticky, so that they can make peace with those who hurt them.
Assalamualaikum everyone. First, introduce myself. My name is Indah Nur'aini with ID number 221221144 from 2D Islamic Guidance and Counseling class. I'm from Group 5. And here I will present a review of educational journal related to forgiveness analysis of victims of domestic violence in Aceh. The discussions was a number of questions related to domestic violence, particularly in Aceh. On the first discussions, what do you think about the news? The news talking about assumptions and analysis regarding domestic violence that occurred in the Aceh region. On second discussions, what causes cases of domestic violence to occur? as for several cases of domestic violence can be triggered by the number of children in the household, economic problems, communication in the household, and patriarchal culture. Some of the causes of domestic violence are also caused by the culture of society that is still thick with the principle that men are stronger and women are weak. And the last discussions, how to prevent domestic violence. The instrument in this study use the forgiveness scale for domestic violence, fortive development from TREM, instrument with 4 choice of answers that are very appropriate, not appropriate, and very incompatible, which measure avoidance motivation, namely the behavior of victims of domestic violence to avoid perpetrations of domestic violence, but physically and psychologically. The referent motivation, namely to measure the behavior of reference victims of domestic violence to perpetration. Benevolence motivation, namely good behavior of victims of domestic violence to perpetrators of domestic violence. So, many reviews from me. Sorry for any mistakes. See you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.